The BHITerrorWatch is covered by the United States Fair Use Act of the federal copyright law, a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. The video segments utilized in videos produced by the BHIT are utilized only for the purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, evangelism and research in accordance with Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act. The presenters and evangelists on BHITerrorWatch each express their own unique views, with the basic consensus that Black Hebrewism and related beliefs are false. The views of each presenter are not necessarily those of the BHITerrorWatch Puritanical Holiness Ministries or affiliates.
Okay, back at it once again, to kill the lies. To kill the lies that Esau is the white man. To kill the lies a little at a time. Here a little, there a little. Witness upon witness, precept upon precept. Now I am in the Apocrypha in 2nd Ezra, and this is the book and the verse that everybody and their mama run to right here. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 8 it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born, when they was born, it says of him, it says Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Now verse 9 is the verse that everybody and their mama use right here. They say, you see, it says that Esau is the end of the world and the white man is ruling. Therefore, the white man is Esau. That is what they say. Verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Let me read that one more time. It says, verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is the verse right here. Another verse that many people use to justify the white man being Esau, by saying that the white man is ruling the world. The white man is the end of the world because he's ruling. That is what they say.
Brazil is not likely to leave this top 10 anytime during the 21st century. Number 5, Japan. With $6.8 trillion, Japan occupies spot number 5 in this top 10. And Japan has been the second largest economy in the world for decades. And it took China until 2010 to surpass the Japanese economy. In 2050, Japan will still be in the top 10 of largest economies in the world. Chances are it will keep a spot in that top 10 at least until the start of the 22nd century. Number 4, Indonesia, with $7.3 trillion. Indonesia is one of the surprise entries in the top 10 of largest economies in the world in 2050. Right now, Indonesia has a 16th spot It means the Indonesian economy is going to make a huge leap forward in the next few decades. And thanks to its growing productivity, its large reserve of natural resources, and its huge population, Indonesia is likely to be one of the strongest economies in the world well into the 22nd century. Number 3, India. With 28 trillion US dollars, India occupies the 3rd spot in the top 10 of largest economies in the world in the year 2050. India is not as well equipped with natural resources as, for example, Russia or Indonesia. It even has a relatively small landmass, but its population is beyond any other country. As of next year, India will surpass China as the most populated country on Earth, and India is very likely to remain the most populated country for the next century. Having a population of close to 1.5 billion means that only a small rise in productivity per capita is needed to establish a considerable growth in GDP. The domestic market of India is big enough to keep its economic wheels rolling and rolling on their own. But on top of that, India's export is showing a remarkable growth too. And that's why it ends up at the 3rd spot in this top 10. Number 2. Well, who is the number 2? As you might have expected, the number 2 economy in the world in the year 2050 is the United States of America, with a GDP of 34 trillion US dollars. Yes, what we now know to be as the most powerful economy in the world will no longer be the number 1. And in 2050, the USA has lost that title already decades ago. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, the USA will lose the title of the strongest economy in the world in the year 2030. And because of its huge domestic market, its tremendous technological lead, its strong exporting force, and its huge reserve of natural resources, the USA is likely to stay one of the top 3 economies in the world for the next few centuries. Number 1, China. Of course, it's inevitable. In 2050, China will be the largest economy of the planet. The only question is, how much bigger will it be than the American economy? Will it be about the same size as the USA, or will it dwarf the American economy? Well, it's not the first. It's most likely the latter. PricewaterhouseCoopers predicts the Chinese economy to be 50 trillion US dollars in the year 2050. So that's considerably larger than the American economy. If the predictions of PricewaterhouseCoopers are correct, the combined Chinese and Indian economies will be twice as big as the American economy in the year 2050. China and India are neighbors, and as their economies develop, renew, and grow, they display more and more strategic trade agreements. If, and who knows what the future will bring, but if China and India would somehow reach a level of economic cooperation in which they would operate as one combined market, they would become the most powerful economic bloc in the world. They would dwarf any other economy, and they would dominate the world in every way imaginable.
By the year 2050, he said what about China and India? Let me play that again.
They would become the most powerful economic bloc in the world. They would dwarf any other economy, and they would dominate the world in every way imaginable. They would become the most powerful economic bloc in the world. They would dwarf any other economy, and they would dominate the world in every way imaginable.
No, Esau would dominate the world.
And they would dominate the world in every way imaginable.
No, the white man would dominate the world.
And they would dominate the world in every way imaginable.
2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 8, it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born, when they was born, it says, of him, it says, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Now, verse 9 is the verse that everybody and their mama use right here. They say, you see, it says that Esau is the end of the world and the white man is ruling. Therefore, the white man is Esau. That is what they say. Verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Let me read that one more time. It says, verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is the verse right here. Another verse that many people use to justify the white man being Esau, by saying that the white man is ruling the world. The white man is the end of the world because he's ruling. That is what they say. But one thing that I notice about some of these camps is they teach their members to read one verse and then they come to a conclusion off of one verse. That is what they teach. Verse 9 again, it says, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Now verse 12, it says, Ezra is talking to the Most High. He says, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showedest me part the last night. Let me read that one more time. It says, I beseech thee, shew thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showedest me part the last night. So Ezra is asking the Most High to show him the end, what will happen at the end. Now let's jump down to verse 20. Let's jump down to verse 25. It says right here, whosoever remaineth from all these that have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. Verse 25 again, it says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end, it says, and the end of your world. So the Most High told Ezra, and see my salvation and the end of your world. The end of your world to Ezra, meaning the end of his world. Now let's jump over to the next page. Let's go to the next page. So he said the end, he told Ezra, the end of your world. Let's go to the next page, chapter 7. And on chapter 7, verse 12, it says right here, it says, then were the interests of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, very painful. Verse 12, one more time, it says, then were the entrance of this world. You see that? The entrance of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but a few and evil, full of perils and very painful. Verse 13, it says, for the entrance of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. Verse 13 again, it says, for the entrance of the elder world, meaning the older world. Okay, so you have the entrance of the elder world, and then verse 12 it says, the entrance of this world and the elder world, the older world. Now, I am going to read verse 42 and 43. It says right here, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end. Let me read verse 42 again. It says, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. Verse 43 it says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Verse 43, the Most High told Ezra, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Wherein corruption is past. It says, then it says, interference is at the end. So right here again, verse 22 it says, and he answered, the Most High answered and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. Then the Most High said, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come. Now let's jump back to verse 12. Let's go back to verse 12. Verse 12, chapter 7. The Most High said, then were the entrance of this world made narrow. This world. Verse 13 it says, for the entrance of the elder world were wide and sure. Now let's jump over to chapter 8. Chapter 8, verse 2 it says, the Most High, the Elohim, told Ezra, he said, I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mud, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Now check this out. The Elohim, the Most High said, he said, even so is the course of this present world. Let me read that one more time. It says, even so is the course of this present world. Present world. The Most High said, even so is the course of this present world. Present world. Now let's go back over to verse 12 one more time. Verse 12 in chapter 7. It says right here again, it says, then were the entrance of this world. Then were the entrance of this world made narrow. And verse 13 says, for the entrance of the elder world, the older world, were wide and sure. That is what the Most High told Ezra. And then jumping right back up again to chapter 8. Chapter 8, the Most High said, chapter 8, verse 2, he says, even so is the course of this present world. So a quick recap right here in chapter 6 again. It says right here, and see my salvation and the end of your world. So the Elohim, the Most High, he told Ezra, see my salvation and the end of your world. The end of your world. Okay? Told Ezra the end of your world. Now let's quickly go back up right here to chapter 7. Verse 12, it says, the Most High said, then were the entrance of this world. Then were the entrance of this world. Okay, made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. Verse 13, it says, for the entrance of the elder world, the older world. Okay, and then jump over to chapter 8 real quick. Jump over to chapter 8. Verse 2, it says again, I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra. It says a similitude, Ezra. And then right here it says, even so is the course of this present world. Even so, the course of this present world. So to understand what the Most High meant when he said that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, you have to read all the verses and chapters that come after to get the full understanding. You just can't read one verse. So now that I showed you that, the Most High told Ezra many times he referring to this world and the elder world. Many times, as I just showed you. Okay, now I want to go into my book right here. This is a concordance. A concordance to the Apocrypha. Yes, I have a book that is a concordance to the Apocrypha. Just like the KJV have a concordance. And inside the concordance, my Apocrypha concordance, it has the correct translation. The correct translations. So let's go inside. Let's go inside my book right here. This is my concordance to the Apocrypha. Let's go inside. Now, it is a little different than the KJV concordance, but it is a very good book. I recommend this book to anybody who have the Apocrypha. I recommend this to anybody. Now let's go to, as you can see as I'm flipping, you see all the words are in alphabetical order. Like right here it says begotten. Begotten. And you can see the word begotten in 2nd Ezra. It says 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 58. And then it gives you the verse with the correct translation. It says whom they hath called thy firstborn only begotten, etc. So let's flip over. I want to flip over to Esau. I want to flip over to Esau. Okay, this is the page right here. Just giving you a sample of the different words through my Apocrypha concordance. Okay, enslaved right here. It gives you all the verses and chapters for the word enslaved with the full verse. Okay, the full verses. Okay, you see right here it says 1st Maccabees 8 and 10, 8 and 11, 8 and 18, 3rd Maccabees, I think that's 3rd, yeah. Then you got 2nd Ezra, etc. Okay, and then it gives you the verse. It gives you the proper translation of the verse. So let's go over now to page. This is page 131. 131. Let's go down to Esau right here. Okay, Esau. Esau is mentioned in the Apocrypha. It looks like about 14, 13 times it's mentioned. It's mentioned in the book of I think it's Jud, Jude, and then they got 1st Maccabees and 2nd Ezra. Okay, 2nd Ezra. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, where it says right here, 2nd Ezra, Let me start right here. 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. Now this is the correct translation from the Apocrypha Concordance. It says right here, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. 6 and 8 again, it says, and Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. Let me read that again. It says, for Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. Right here, chapter 6, verse 9, it says, this is the correct translation. It says, let me get a little closer so you can see it. It says right here, 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of this age. For Esau is the end of this age. Let me read that one more time. For Esau is the end of this age. Not this world, not the world, not Esau is the end of the world. The correct translation is Esau is the end of this age. This age. The King James scholars, they put Esau is the end of the world. But the correct translation, when you go to the original Aramaic and Hebrew, it is Esau is the end of this age. That's the correct translation, folks. Not Esau is the end of the world. The end of this age. This age. Now I want to go inside this book right here, the Pseudepigrapha. The Pseudepigrapha in the Old Testament, dealing with the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha. Let's go inside this book right here. Okay, now I am inside on page 534. Page 534. And this is the fourth book of Ezra right here, which is 2nd Ezra. Okay, the 4th book of Ezra, it is 2nd Ezra. It's the same book. This is just called the 4th book. The 4th book of Ezra is the same as 2nd Ezra. Okay, so let's scroll down right here. You see, it says the subtitle. It says the end of this age. The end of this age. Right here. Now let's scroll down right here. This is where I want to go. The division of the times. And let me start right here. It says 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Let me start at verse 7. It says, verse 7, and I answered and said, what will be the dividing of the times? And this is Ezra speaking to the Elohim, the Most High. It says, once again, Ezra says, what will be the dividing of the times? Or when will be the end of the first age? Let me go back again. Ezra says, what will be the dividing of the times? Or when? Now this is the correct translation. Or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows. Then it says, verse 8, and he said to me, the Elohim said to Ezra, from Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau, and Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. Then it says, now pay close attention, this is the correct translation. It says, for Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. Let me read that one more time. I know some of your food in your stomach turns sideways, but let me read it again. It says, for Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. Then it says, for the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel, it says between the heel and the hand, seek for nothing else, Ezra. So there you have it, right there. The correct translation. is the end of this age. This age. The end of this age. Not the end of the world. The end of this age. Meaning, it happened already. Esau's world ended already. Back inside 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras. Because now we know that the correct translation is Esau is the end of this age. This age. The King James scholars, they put down Esau is the end of the world. But the correct translation we know now is Esau is the end of this age. This age, meaning it happened already. Okay, back inside the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 25, it says again, the Most High said, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape. And then the Most High said, and see my salvation and the end of your world. You see that? The Most High told Esdras, and the end of your world. Why the Most High told Esdras the end of your world? Because the correct translation is Esau is the end of this age. That is why. Esau is the end of this age. So the Most High told Esdras the end of your world. Now let's go to the next page. Let's go to the next. Okay? Let's go to the next right here. Chapter 7. Chapter 7 again. Once again, chapter 7, verse 12 it says, then were the entrance of this world. Okay, the Most High, the Elohim said, then were the entrance of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. Okay? Verse 13, the Most High said, for the entrance of the elder world. The elder mean older world. The world that ended with Esau. It says for the entrance of the elder world were wide. Okay? Now go over to, once again, to chapter 8. As a matter of fact, let's go back. Chapter 7, let's go to verse 42. It says right here, matter of fact, let's read verse 43. Okay, chapter 7, verse 43, it says, the Most High said, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Verse 43 again, chapter 7 in 2nd Esdras. The Most High said to Esdras, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Once again, that is why he told Esdras that Esau is the end of this age. Okay, now let's go over to chapter 8. The last verse, chapter 8, verse 2. Verse 2, the Elohim told Esau, I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras. I'm sorry, he told Esdras, I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras. Then we jump down. Now we jump down. It says, even so is the course of this present world. Even so is the course of this present world. Okay, so now we have the meaning, the true meaning. And now we know that the correct translation is Esau is the end of this age. Esau is the end of this age. Jacob is the beginning that followeth. Now inside the book of Obadiah. Okay, it says Obadiah verse 12. It says, but thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Okay, then it says verse 13, thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Verse 14, it says, the Most High, the Elohim, said, Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. Okay? Then it says, the Elohim says, he says, unto thee thy reward shall return upon thy own head. Let me read that one more time. He said, the Elohim, unto thee thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Okay? Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. Verse 16, for as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continuously. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Okay, they shall be as though they have not been. And then you continue to read right here. It says, in the house, verse 18, in the house of Jacob. It says, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Then it says, and they shall kindle them and devour them. Then it says, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Once again it says, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord have spoken it. Now let's go to the book of Jeremiah. Let's go over to Jeremiah. Inside the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, and the subtitle right here is the 70 years of desolation. Okay, 70 years of desolation. Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 1, it says the word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah. Okay. Then it says right here, king of Judah. Then it says that was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Okay, king of Babylon. Let's go down to verse 9 right here. It says, the Elohim, the Most High, said, behold, he said, I will send and take all the families of the north, says the Lord. Then it says, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment. Okay, so the Most High is going to use the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Then it says, and make them an astonishment and a hissing and perpetual desolations. Now let's go down to verse 11. It says verse 11, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Okay, all of these nations, they shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. That's a long time, 70 years. Let's go down to verse 17 real quick. Verse 17, it says, then took I the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink. This is the Most High talking. He says, then took I the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink. What Jeremiah said about the Most High, unto whom the Lord has sent me. Then it says, verse 18 says, it says, to wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, a hissing, and a curse, as it is this day. Okay? Now, pay close attention to all of these nations that went into captivity to Babylon. Verse 19, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, they went into captivity. Verse 20, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azor, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod. Verse 21, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon. Verse 21 says, among these nations that went into captivity to Babylon and served King Nebuchadnezzar for 70 years. Verse 21, Edom was captured. Edom. That is why when you read in the book of Obadiah, the Most High said the same thing that happened to the Israelites, the tribe of Judah, the same thing will happen to them. Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon. Let me read verse 24 real quick. It says, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert. Keep that in mind also, the mingled people. I will touch on the mingled people in another video, okay? But right here, once again, among the nations that went into captivity, Edom and Moab. Edom. The Edomites went into captivity also to Babylon. Not just the children of Judah and Israel, also the Edomites went into captivity. The Most High said it would happen. He said it. And that is why when you read 2nd Ezra, it says that Esau is the end. The Most High Elohim told Ezra, Esau is the end of this age. This age is the correct translation.
Greetings and salutations to all. This is the BHITerrorWatch. This is Kareem Robinson. It's time to tell you something, you dumbass black Hebrew scumites. The truth. All you BHIs come yelling in the street corners, especially you one West scumites. Thoughts right, one West. One West. One West. Gms Iuic Islam United and Muhammad. Gocc the Sicarii, and the rest of you jokers. Get this through your thick skull. Get hip to the real 100% truth, the stone cold truth. The real hard rock truth. From the home of the truth. Not some cult with a megalomaniac leader calling oneself a military captain, but the word from the one dwelling place of ruler of heaven and earth, the Most High's message to you. Esau is not the white man. You dumb nincompoops hate to admit that the biblical Edomites were. Esau was the same color as Jacob. More truth, the white man is a Japhetic people. The Greeks, the cradle of modern civilization, was founded by Japhetic people. Greeks are white Europeans. Japhetic white Europeans, dummies. The Edomites were in the land of Mount Seir, also known as Edom and Idumea, all the way up till the time of the Greeks and Romans. If the European was Edomite, many of them were taken into captivity to Babylon. And what about the Maccabees? When Judah's Maccabees fought against the Greeks and Edomites at the same time, who was the Greeks he fought? And was the Edomites he fought? Answer me, you one West scumbags. When Joseph was made king in Egypt, he fought against Zepho and the Edomites. Joseph defeated them and took Zepho as a prisoner back to Egypt. Zepho finally escaped from captivity and fled to the king of Africa, named Gms. Zepho tried to convince the king of Africa to help him fight Egypt and Joseph. The king of Africa refused to go fight against Joseph, the children of Israel, and the Egyptians. So Zepho decided to journey to Chittim. After Zepho helped the children of Chittim defeat the king of Africa, they made him king of Chittim. Zepho then made Edom part of the kingdom of Chittim, just like how Hawaii is part of the United States. After Zepho died, Edom revolted against Chittim. They did not want anything to do with Chittim. During the time of King David, he put garrisons in Edom and ruled over the Edomites. Chittim with the Greeks were long out the picture. The Edomites were in the countries of Edom and Idumea all the way to the time of the Greeks and Romans. The European race is a Japhetic race. Tell the dumb unintelligent Hebrew Israelites to explain how you can be Japheth and Shem at the same time. If the white man is Japheth, then they might as well call him Shem. Then you have debunked the lies they're teaching. Also, Joe, the greatest of the men of the biblical Orient, was also, guess what? An Edomite. And another thing about this, Esau is the end of the world in the book of Esdras. And that non-canon apocrypha of yours. Your interpretation is baloney. You're too late. This is not prophecy coming. This is prophecy fulfilled. Now today other nations are coming up. The white man ruling the world is a delusion. Not all the European nations or our countries are powerful. Does Poland or Slovakia have nuclear weapons? That's a fact. Not all the European nations in Europe are powerful. Countries like China and India, Japan, are powerful as well, more powerful than many European nations. That's a fact. They can't even deal with North Korea. The correct translation is Esau is the end of this age. Esau physically no longer exists. You one West camps are so off. It's not even funny. Thighs blows the A. BC one West camps out the water. You can't refute or debunk what we say. I dare you one West minions to come up with scripture that says that Job is not an Edomite. Even another so-called black Hebrew Israelite named Judah Israel said that he was Edomite, and he, as he did in a number of videos, destroyed your ignorant doctrine. Are you so arrogant and dumb that you have to manipulate the gospel in history to make you feel good? Are you so prideful that you have to make your own religion by taking the scriptures of the Creator and sing them by adding your own doctrine? Moreover, do you hate the white man so much that you need to make a religion that says he's going to be destroyed, just to engage in a session of mental masturbation? How dare you take the word of God and violate it? That is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the unpardonable sin. And all you BC camps are going to, if you do not humble yourselves and repent, be judged by the Master himself on that day of righteous judgment, and you will hear the words, "Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. You will be not in the Lamb's book of life, and will roast in the pain of eternal damnation, in hell." Hell. So you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I dare any of you one West dummies to come up with a refutation video, because you can't stop the real authentic Hebrew movement from rising up and overtaking you one West idiots. We at the BHITerrorWatch challenge you to refute everything we said. Just because you hate white tea, that means that you believe that God is going to make him the enemy of the earth? No. It's time to humble yourself, get out of that one West thinking, adopt that Berean spirit, and come to the Almighty One, the great I Am, and get back on his program. This once again is Kareem Robinson, for the BHITerrorWatch signing off. May Yah have mercy on your souls.